Have you ever noticed certain habits creeping in as you age that no one seems to talk about? It's a curious thing, isn't it? As we grow older, we often develop habits that can quietly impact our well-being and relationships. These habits are rarely discussed, yet they can significantly affect our quality of life. Today, we're diving into a topic that many shy away from: the 12 unpleasant habits seniors develop as they age. And trust me, the third point will surprise you. Now, you might be thinking, aren't these just part of getting older? Well, not quite. While it's true that aging brings changes, some common beliefs about these habits are incomplete. For instance, did you know that a study from the Journal of Aging Research found that certain habits can actually accelerate cognitive decline? Or that real-life experiences from seniors reveal how these habits can strain relationships with loved ones? It's not just about accepting these changes. It's about understanding them and finding ways to improve our daily lives. So, what can you expect from this video? Let's take a sneak peek at some of the key points we'll cover. First, we'll explore the habit of social withdrawal. Many seniors find themselves pulling away from social activities. But did you know that maintaining social connections can boost your mental health? Next, we'll discuss the tendency to resist new technology. While it might seem daunting, embracing technology can open up a world of opportunities and keep you connected with family and friends. And then there's the habit of neglecting physical activity. Staying active is crucial, and we'll share simple ways to incorporate movement into your daily routine. By watching this video, you'll gain insights into how to replace these habits with more positive ones, enhancing your daily life and relationships. We'll address common mistakes and offer fresh, practical solutions that you can start implementing today. Imagine feeling more connected, more engaged, and more vibrant in your everyday life. That's what we're aiming for. So if you find this topic relatable, please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's embark on this journey together, discovering how to make the most of our golden years. Stay tuned, because what you'll learn might just change your perspective on aging. Let's dive into something that, well, we don't often talk about: excessive complaining. It's one of those habits that can sneak up on us as we age. You know, it starts small, maybe with a little grumble about the weather. "Oh, it's too hot today," or "it's raining again." And before you know it, it becomes a daily ritual. I mean, who hasn't found themselves doing that, right? But here's the thing. When complaining becomes a habit, it can really affect your mood and the people around you. Take my friend, for example. She used to call me every morning, and the first thing she'd say was, "Can you believe this weather?" It was like clockwork. And then she'd move on to pointing out flaws in others, like, "Did you see what so-and-so was wearing?" Or, "I can't believe they said that." It was exhausting, honestly. And I started to notice that our conversations were more about what was wrong than what was right. It got me thinking, why do we do this? The thing is, focusing on negativity can lead to a cycle of dissatisfaction and unhappiness. It's like the more you complain, the more you find things to complain about. It's a bit like a snowball rolling downhill, picking up more and more as it goes. And this negativity can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. You start expecting things to go wrong, and guess what? They often do. Now, let's talk about how this affects relationships. When you're constantly pointing out the negative, it can put a strain on your connections with family and friends. No one wants to be around someone who's always finding fault, right? It can even lead to alienating loved ones. And that's the last thing any of us want. We all cherish our relationships, especially as we get older. Plus, there's the impact on your own well-being. Constant complaining can increase stress and anxiety. It's like carrying around a heavy backpack filled with worries and grievances. And who needs that extra weight? Life's challenging enough without adding more stress to the mix. So, what can we do about it? Well, one powerful antidote to complaining is practicing gratitude. I know it sounds simple, but it can make a world of difference. Try finding something positive in each day, no matter how small. Maybe it's a beautiful sunset, a kind word from a friend, or even just a good cup of coffee. When you focus on the good, it shifts your perspective and lightens that heavy backpack. And here's a little challenge for you. Why not share a positive experience you had today in the comments? It could be anything. A smile from a stranger, a delicious meal, or a moment of peace. Sharing these moments not only lifts your spirits, but can also inspire others to see the good in their own lives. So, next time you catch yourself about to complain, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, is there something positive I can focus on instead? It's not about ignoring the challenges we face, but about choosing to see the silver linings. And who knows, maybe you'll find that your days are a little brighter and your relationships a bit stronger. After all, life is too short to spend it grumbling, don't you think? Let's talk about something that might hit close to home: oversharing personal details. You know, it's one of those habits that can sneak up on us as we get older. We all want to connect with others, right? But sometimes, in our quest for connection, we might end up sharing a bit too much. And that can lead to some pretty uncomfortable situations. Imagine this. You're at a community event, chatting with someone you just met. Before you know it, you're discussing your financial issues. Or maybe you're in line at the grocery store and start talking about your latest health problems with a stranger. Or perhaps during a casual coffee meetup, you find yourself openly discussing family disputes. These are all examples of oversharing that can make things awkward, not just for you, but for the person you're talking to as well. Now, don't get me wrong, sharing is a beautiful thing. It helps us bond and feel less alone. But maintaining a bit of privacy is important too. It's all about balance. You wouldn't want to breach your own privacy or give people fodder for gossip, right? So how do we find that balance? Well, one way is to consider your audience before you share. Ask yourself, is this the right person to share this with? Or, is this the right setting for this kind of conversation? The thing is, when we overshare, we might not even realize we're doing it. It often comes from a genuine desire to connect, but it can lead to unintended consequences. You might end up feeling exposed or regretful later on. And let's be honest, nobody wants to be the subject of gossip or have their personal life become public knowledge. So, what can we do about it? First, be mindful of what you share. It's okay to pause and think before you speak. Setting boundaries for personal topics is another good strategy. You don't have to share everything with everyone. It's perfectly fine to keep some things to yourself or save them for a more private conversation with someone you trust. And here's a little tip. If you ever find yourself in a situation where you've shared too much, it's okay to backtrack. You can say something like, "Oh, I might have gone into too much detail there," and gently steer the conversation in a different direction. People will understand. We've all been there. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, "But I like being open and honest." And that's great. Openness is a wonderful trait. Just remember, it's about finding the right balance. You can still be open without revealing every detail of your life. So let's make a little pact, shall we? Let's be more mindful of our conversations and think about the impact of our words. And hey, if you've ever found yourself in a situation where you felt you overshared, why not share your experience in the comments? How did you handle it? We can all learn from each other. And who knows, your story might just help someone else. Remember, it's all about connection, not confession. Let's keep our conversations meaningful and respectful, and we'll all feel a little more comfortable and secure. Let's talk about something that might hit close to home for many of us. Refusing to try new things. Sticking to what we know can feel comforting, like a warm blanket on a chilly day. But the thing is, it can also limit our personal growth and enjoyment. I mean, how many times have we heard someone say, "Oh, I don't do technology," or "I only eat what I know"? It's like we're building these little walls around ourselves, and sometimes we don't even realize it. Take technology, for example. I know it can be intimidating. All those buttons and screens, right? But avoiding it altogether means missing out on some pretty amazing stuff. My friend Carol was in the same boat. She used to say, "I don't need a smartphone. My flip phone works just fine." But then her granddaughter showed her how to video call, and now she can't imagine not seeing her family's faces every week. It's like opening a window to a whole new world. And it's not just technology. Think about food. How many of us stick to the same meals week after week? I get it. Comfort food is called that for a reason. But trying new foods can be an adventure. I remember the first time I tried sushi. I was skeptical, to say the least. Raw fish? Really? But you know what? It was delicious. And now it's one of my favorite treats. It's these little experiences that can add so much flavor to our lives, literally and figuratively. Then there's the daily routine. We all have one, right? Wake up, have breakfast, maybe a walk, and then the usual activities. But sticking to the same routine can sometimes make life feel like it's on repeat. Trying something new, even if it's just a different route for your walk, can stimulate the brain. It's like giving your mind a little workout, and who doesn't need that? Trying new things also encourages social interaction. Joining a club or a group activity can be a great way to meet new people and share experiences. I joined a book club last year, and it's been such a joy. We don't just talk about books, we share stories, laugh, and sometimes even cry together. It's a reminder that we're not alone in this journey. But let's be honest, there's a fear of the unknown that can hold us back. It's natural to feel a bit anxious about stepping out of our comfort zones. What if we don't like it? What if we fail? But missed opportunities for enjoyment and the potential for isolation are real risks. It's like standing on the edge of a pool, afraid to jump in. But once you do, you realize how refreshing it is. So here's a little challenge for you. Try something new each week. It doesn't have to be big. Maybe it's a new recipe, a different genre of music, or even a new hobby. And if you're feeling adventurous, join a club or a group activity. You might be surprised at how much you enjoy it. What new activity have you tried recently? Share in the comments. I'd love to hear your stories. Remember, life is a journey, and every new experience is a step forward. Let's keep moving, exploring, and growing together. Let's talk about something that might hit close to home: harsh judgments. Those quick judgments we sometimes make that can really get in the way of understanding and empathy. It's like we see something or someone, and bam, we've already made up our minds. But here's the thing. These snap judgments can actually be a barrier to connecting with others. Take, for example, criticizing younger generations. It's easy to look at how they do things and think, well, back in my day. But every generation has its quirks, and judging them too harshly can create a divide. Or how about judging others' lifestyle choices? Maybe someone decides to live a certain way that doesn't align with what we think is right. It's tempting to jump to conclusions, but doing so can prevent us from really understanding where they're coming from. And then there's making assumptions based on appearance. We've all done it, right? You see someone dressed a certain way and you think you know their story, but appearances can be deceiving, and those assumptions can lead to missed opportunities for connection. It's like judging a book by its cover. Sometimes you miss out on a really great story. Now, why do we do this? Well, sometimes judging others is a defense mechanism. It can feel like a way to protect ourselves, but it often leads to isolation. And let's be honest, nobody wants to feel isolated. We all crave connection, and empathy is a powerful tool for building better relationships. When we take the time to understand different perspectives, it opens up a whole new world of possibilities. Think about it. Empathy can lead to better relationships. When we practice empathy, we start to see things from another person's point of view. It's like putting on a new pair of glasses and seeing the world in a different light. And understanding different perspectives? That's valuable. It enriches our lives and makes us more compassionate. But of course, there are risks and challenges. Harsh judgments can damage relationships. They can create walls between us and the people we care about. And let's not forget about the missed opportunities for connection. When we're quick to judge, we might miss out on forming meaningful relationships with people who could bring joy and insight into our lives. So, what can we do about it? Well, one recommendation is to practice empathy. It's not always easy, but it's worth it. Try to put yourself in someone else's shoes and see the world from their perspective. And consider how your words might affect others. Words have power, and they can either build bridges or burn them. I know it's not always easy to change these habits, but it's never too late to start. And here's a little call to action for you. Think about a time when empathy changed your perspective. Maybe it was a moment when you decided to listen instead of judge, and it led to a deeper understanding. Share that experience. It might just inspire someone else to do the same. So let's work on being a little more understanding, a little more empathetic, because in the end, it's those connections that make life richer and more fulfilling. And who doesn't want that, right? All right, let's talk about something that might be a bit uncomfortable, but is really important: neglecting hygiene. Now, I know this isn't the most glamorous topic, but it's something that can sneak up on us as we get older. You might find yourself skipping a daily shower here and there, or maybe you're not as diligent with dental care as you used to be. And let's be honest, wearing the same clothes repeatedly can become a habit. Why does this happen? Well, sometimes it's just forgetfulness. Other times it might be a lack of motivation. You wake up and think, I'll do it tomorrow. And then tomorrow turns into the next day, and so on. But here's the thing, neglecting personal hygiene can really affect your health and your social interactions. I remember my friend, let's call her Mary. She once told me how she started skipping her morning routine because she just didn't feel like it. But then she noticed she wasn't feeling as confident when meeting friends or even just going out for groceries. It was like a little cloud hanging over her. And hygiene is linked to self-esteem. When you feel clean and fresh, it boosts your mood and confidence. Now, let's talk about the risks. Ignoring hygiene can lead to health issues. We're talking about skin infections, dental problems, and even more serious conditions if left unchecked. Plus, it can lead to social isolation. People might not say it to your face, but they notice. And that can make you feel even more isolated, which is the last thing anyone wants. So, what can we do about it? Well, setting a daily hygiene schedule can be a game changer. It might sound simple, but having a routine helps keep you on track. You could set reminders or alarms on your phone. Maybe even put a sticky note on your bathroom mirror. Little nudges like these can make a big difference. And let's not forget the power of routine. Once you get into the habit, it becomes second nature. It's like brushing your teeth before bed. After a while, you don't even think about it. It just happens. But I get it. Some days are harder than others. Maybe you're not feeling up to it, or you're just having one of those days. That's okay. The key is to not let it become a pattern. So what tips do you have for maintaining a hygiene routine? Maybe you have a trick that works for you, or perhaps you found a way to make it more enjoyable. Share your thoughts because honestly, we can all learn from each other. And remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about taking small steps to take care of yourself. Because when you feel good, it shows. And that, my friends, is something worth striving for. So let's keep the conversation going. What do you think? Have you noticed this in yourself or someone you know? How do you stay motivated? Let's share our experiences and help each other out. After all, we're all in this together, right? As we get older, change can feel like a big looming shadow. I mean, it's not just about the little things like switching to a new phone or trying a different brand of coffee. It's deeper than that. It's about how we adapt to life's bigger shifts, and honestly, it can be a bit scary. I remember my neighbor Ed who once said, "I like my routines, they're like old friends." And I get it. Routines are comforting, like a warm blanket on a chilly day. But here's the thing, change is inevitable. It's like the seasons, always moving, always shifting. And sometimes, embracing change can lead to unexpected joys. Think about a time when you took a leap, maybe moved to a new place or picked up a new hobby. How did that change your life? Did it bring new friendships, new experiences? Reflecting on those moments can be enlightening. It reminds us that while change can be daunting, it can also be a doorway to growth. So let's not shy away from it. Instead, let's see it as an opportunity to learn and evolve. What do you think? So we've taken a look at these 12 habits that can sneak up on us as we get older. And it's really about recognizing them and making those small changes. It's like when my neighbor Ed realized he was getting a bit too comfortable with his daily routine. He started taking a different route on his morning walks, and it was like a whole new world opened up for him. Sometimes it's just about shaking things up a bit, right? And hey, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps us out. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. We love having you here, and we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Maybe you've got a story or a tip to share. We're all in this together, after all. The thing is, aging is such a unique journey. It's filled with opportunities for growth and connection. I mean, think about it. Every day is a chance to learn something new or to meet someone who might just change your perspective. It's like that time I met a woman at the library who was learning to play the guitar at 70. She said it was something she'd always wanted to do, and she finally just went for it. Her enthusiasm was contagious, and it reminded me that it's never too late to try something new. So embrace these changes. Sure, some habits might be a little unpleasant, but they're also a chance to reflect and grow. And it's okay to laugh at ourselves sometimes. My friend once told me, if you can't laugh at yourself, you're missing out on a lot of good material. There's wisdom in that, don't you think? Let's keep thriving, keep exploring, and keep connecting with each other. Life is full of surprises, and who knows what tomorrow might bring. Maybe a new hobby, a new friend, or just a new way of looking at things. Whatever it is, let's welcome it with open arms and a curious mind. Thanks for being here with us today. We really appreciate it. And remember, we're all on this journey together, learning and growing every step of the way. So, until next time, take care and keep embracing the adventure of life.